So for our next segment, our topic train for this week is
Ooh,
budgeting.
ooh, it's a
All
good
right,
one.
fellas. So
Nice.
my question to you both is: what questions do you ask yourself when building your budget, and what does your budget look like?
Okay, so I'll start. But you know what? Before we start with the budgeting topic, I want to go back to last week when we talked about debt. I want to address my credit card comments from last week. I'm getting some feedback, some flag. I never said last week because people are telling me that they must have heard. I don't know in their mind that I said nobody should use credit cards, and I never said that. What I said was that I decided for me and my family that we're not going to use credit cards anymore because of more reasons, you know.
Sure.
So and the data backs up my reasons, right? So I was looking it up. People say, all right, I could use my credit card because I pay it off at the end of the month. I'm like, fine, that's okay. You have no problem. That's good. If you have that discipline, use your credit card and get those points, right? But
I agree.
but I was looking at the data and it said only 45% of consumers in America pay off their credit card in full every month, right?
I could believe that.
So
I could believe those
so
numbers.
so think about it, right? So those 45%, they're getting their 2%, their 3%, up to their 5%. I know I have a Discover card that every quarter they give you 5% if you spend a certain amount of money in certain things. Could be supermarkets or gas, whatever, right? So I'm like, fine, those 45%, they're killing it. I mean, they're doing good. But then I look at the other 55% of people, right? 55% of people, they're not paying their credit card in full.
That's the flip.
So and the interest rate on new credit cards, the average is 18.97%. Okay? 18
Good lord.
eighteen point nine
Good
seven
lord,
percent, right?
bro.
So I mean, if I'm the bank, I'm taking those odds every week, right? So all right, say 45% of the people they pay off their card. Okay, that's good. I got to pay them 2, 3, 5%, whatever. But 55% of people aren't paying off their card, and they're paying me on an average. It could be different. It could be up to, if you have good credit, it could be as low as 13, 14. But those store cards, they charge you over 25% to
Exactly.
interest. So
Exactly.
I'm if I'm the bank, I'm taking that spread all day. All right, the 45% that are paying me 18%, they'll pay off that 2, that 3, that 4, that 5% to those good credit card users that paid off every month.
That's
But
right.
what
That's
what
right.
about that other 10%? That's where the banks are getting rich, man.
That's where they're making their money.
And even with the ones that the first 45% to even it out, they're still making a 12, 11, 12,
That's
12
right.
percent spreads. It's like they're doing better than the S&P by offering these
Every
by
year.
by offering these rewards. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like,
Every year. And then people also they max out one card and then they go to another one. So now you could have a 25% on one card, then a 27% on another card, then a 15% on another card. So what are you doing? You're just averaging high interest into what?
yeah.
Just digging yourself deeper and
So
deeper.
like I just wanted to clarify that I never said nobody should use a credit card, but I've been getting people telling me, or not even telling, like kind of like sending me videos and stuff like about people that say like you shouldn't, that you should use credit cards. I'm like, I don't know why you're sending me that. I never said you shouldn't. All I said was that I don't use it. So
Sending shots at the
yeah,
kid.
no. So it's like I just want to
It's all right,
I want
man.
to clarify. I just what.
Hey, man, we welcome the opinions
No,
too.
hey, listen. That's what makes a show great. Everybody has an
You know what I'm
opinion,
saying?
so I welcome the feedback, and I'm just defending what I said. And yeah,
Sure,
so
man.
the
Sure.
banks, they're nobody's beating the banks. If look at their building and look at where you live. All right, their building's way bigger.
Great
Yep.
point.
Their build
Great
their
point.
building's way
Great
bigger than
point.
your house. All right, so that 2%, that 3%, 5%, maybe it's making you happy at the end of the month, but you're not beating them. And look at your friends and family, the ones that don't pay off, because like if there's 55% of people that don't pay off their bill in full every month, that we all know 5, 10, 5, 6 people that don't do it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you already know.
So
You already know.
that for those reasons, that's why I stopped using credit cards. I used credit cards for a long time. I mean, I got my first credit card in like 2011, right? And then I finally stopped a few months ago. So I love credit cards are a good tool. Like if you could buy stuff if you have the money, get the points. Like say you have a business, you could buy merchandise on your credit card, and then you sell it for a profit. You pay off the credit card, you keep that profit. You don't have to use your money. That's great. There's many uses for credit cards, but
I mean, that's the name of the game, in my opinion. That's the name
of course,
get yourself a reward card and use it correctly.
if you use it like that to help you make profits and stuff, hey, it's a blessing. But we're this podcast, we're talking about irregular, everyday people trying to be financially free, right? So
that's right. And get your money right. Get your money.
So
right.
we're not going to promote consumer debt here. We're not going to do that.
Go somewhere else with that. Go to the next podcast with that, boy.
Right. So
I mean, hey, but like we talked about last week, there's a difference between good debt, bad debt.
Of course.
Tapping into the good debt, we're okay with.
That's it.
Tapping into that bad debt, you gotta
get your money. Hey, you buy some real estate, you get some renters in there. Hey, that's great. That you know what I'm saying. They're paying for your house, they're paying for your property, and you're making some extra money. Hey, do that all the day. I'm with leverage. I trade options, so I'm not. I love leverage. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. That's when That's when the bank is your friend.
Of course.
In those situations, the bank is your friend. But if you are the one paying the interest, the bank is your worst enemy.
You're an idiot. If you're paying all that interest, you're an idiot, right?
Exactly. So you got to decide what relationship do you want to have with the bank. You want to be their friend, borrow money from them to make more money, or do you want to be on the other side? Do you want to be the consumer that's paying them interest and is paying someone like me dividends to own companies that pay dividends?
Exactly. And just remember, the spread the bank makes on these credit card interest rates is higher than the historical average of the S&P. So I'm gonna leave it at that. And my bad, Flip. Can you ask that budgeting question again, please?
Well, before I ask that question, I gotta give you guys a quick update. I gotta give the people a quick update from last week's episode in our topic change that the Flip has paid off 70% of his credit card debt.
Wow, Flip, 70%. I'm gonna give you a round of applause for that.
Bravo,
boy.
my brother.
Round of applause, man. That is excellent.
That's a hell of a job, man. Hey,
I just want to thank everyone who.
Damn, Flip, that's dope.
Everyone who.
You know what you need? You need like those YouTube plaques that people get, like when they have like a certain amount of views or a certain amount of videos. You need one of those plaques on the wall. Like, paid off this debt.
Go fund me. Nah, never that.
That's really fire though. That's dope.
That's really management group, a consulting company. That was how I was able to pay. Just long nights, Luckily,
the Flip is getting rid of those ball and chains, baby.
That's it. Little by little, man. Little by little. That's the name of this game, man.
30% left.
Slow and steady.
That's dope, though, Flip. That's dope, bro. Salute to you. That's awesome,
proud of you, bro.
Really
proud of you.
You guys, soon part of my journey.
You know what I'm saying?
All right. So the question again was, what questions do you ask yourself when creating your budget, and what does your budget look like?
All right. So, couple things. So, most of the regular people, let's say, right, like us, most of those people, their budgets, they don't really have a budget. They get paid. They pay you off everything they owe, and then if there's any money left, then it's for them, right? So that's what we try to avoid. We want to have money to invest over here. So we're always gonna pay ourselves first.
Love that, bro.
10, 15, 20% minimum. Even more is better if you can. So that's what we like to do here. That's the first thing I think about. It's like, all right, I got to invest, and then whatever's left over, all right, I'm going to pay my bills, obviously. The key bills, everybody's going to pay.
Bro, you see how funny this is? This is so funny. It's like you're saying, like, all right, I'm going to invest first, and then I'm going to live second. Like that's an investor right there, man. That's an investor.
I mean, so think about it. What are they going to do if you owe somebody? What are they going to do? They're going to call you. They're going to keep calling you. Like, just don't answer the phone. Who cares? You'll get to them when you can. Obviously, I'm not talking about where you live or anything like that.
Right, of course.
But like little, like even if you can't pay the cable or something this month for your Wi-Fi or it's whatever, what are they gonna do? They're gonna cut your cable? No, they're not. They want you as a customer. You know, I know people like they go like 3-4 months without paying their bill, like their TV bill
Damn.
and stuff.
What?
Yeah, it's like whatever. They don't even care about that. So they're not gonna cut you off, bro. At the end of the day, they want your money, so they're gonna bother you. They're gonna be a pain in the ass, but what are they gonna do?
We don't condone.
No,
that
we
here.
don't. I'm always saying. I'm saying, pay yourself first,
That's right.
so you
that's
can
right.
invest and build wealth, and then pay your bills.
Be
You know, pay
fiscally
your
responsible.
housing,
Sure.
pay
sure,
pay
sure.
your transportation. You know, you need gas in your car. You need to eat. You gotta get food. You know, that's key. If you got kids, that's more food. That's more diapers and stuff. So that's usually when I start thinking about a budget. That's how I look at it. I'm looking at how how can I use my money wisely to get wealthier. You know, first. Then I pay my necessities, and then I'll save for if I need to buy something or a vacation, whatever. That's not a big deal right now because I have small children. So like where am I gonna go to the park? I'm not going anywhere far with them. You seen those families out there with little kids. They're annoying. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be that family.
Don't be that guy.
You know.
Don't be that dad.
You can't be bringing that riffraff.
And plus, like how kids are. They see something, they want it. Like even though they're never gonna touch it again. They're never gonna touch that toy or whatever it is.
Right,
They see another kid with it. Oh, I want it. A light, like a blinking light or something. They see something flashy, like oh, I need it. So I don't try to really go too many far places with my kids. So right now we're saving on that. Plus, a newborn is coming, so
Congrats.
we have to save even more for that. So
Yes. Congrats to the kid,
yeah.
baby.
So then, what was the second question, Flip? How's my budget? You said. All right. So like same thing. I check my income for the month, and then I have lines: investing, housing, debt. The only debt I have is the car right now. Thank God. So and everything else, the bills everybody has, their cell phone, all that shit has to get paid off, and then also side money, and that's basically how I do it, man. It's not that hard, but the key is to keep track, like at the beginning of the month or beginning of the week, however you do it, set a number that you're gonna use on that, and then stick to it. Like write it down, and then keep track of it. When you go, if you swipe your debit card or whatever, you're gonna get it in your bank account. It's gonna tell you, all right. So if you put for this week, you put 100 or $200 for gas. I mean, I don't know how much people drive, but once you get gas, go check your app. All right, I have this much money. Subtract that. There's apps that do it automatically for you. So for lazy people like me, like that's what I use. I use the app. All I have to do is type the number in. Like, oh, all right, I spend. I mean, I don't even know how much gas is now because it keeps going up, but it's like
Yeah.
Too damn
yeah,
expensive.
yeah.
That's
I
what
paid
it buys.
60 this week, and then boom. So that's how I go about making my budget, and then another key is if you're
I was about
married
to ask you
or
that.
if you're married, then I think it works better if you budget with your wife or your significant other. You know, me and my wife, we're working towards that. We've actually we've been married for almost 4 years, but I feel like we've been living like roommates. As far as finances are concerned, because we never mixed we have like a joint savings account, but the everyday expenses we have separate accounts for it. So like her check, she gets it, goes in her account. I don't know how much she makes. Mine, it goes into mine. She don't know how much I make. She probably knows actually. She probably you know how women they
You got your phone.
they find out everything.
Yeah,
The detectives. So
somehow,
yeah.
some way.
So yeah, we're working towards putting our finances together because I feel like that'll help us get to financial freedom even faster
sure.
because we'll have
sure.
more money to invest, and
Yeah.
everything. So she's a little wary about it. That's how women are. I mean, I get it. There's a lot of stories out there where people had joint bank accounts and then one of them wipes it out, like they have a gambling addiction or a drug addiction or something, or they just break up and then like one of them just takes
What do you do then,
one
right?
of them they take all the money out or something. you know. So it's like
yeah.
I understand that it's not for everybody. I've never done it, so I mean I'm a little hesitant myself, but I'm looking at the bigger picture. It's like when you look at the market, you got to think the future. You got to always think about the future, right? It's my income
For
by
sure.
itself, because like when you think about it, it's not myself anymore. I'm married. I'm gonna have 2 kids now. Oh, and that's another thing. Mentioning my kids, already saving for college before they were even born. As soon as my wife told me she was pregnant, boom, I opened up a savings account for them. And I put money in it every week.
That's
You know what I'm
fire, bro.
saying?
That is fire. Drop the bomb on
Yeah,
that one,
I
Flip.
mean,
That's fire,
listen.
man.
So yeah, Alex, he already has 5 figures in his account. He's been blessed because like every time somebody gives him a gift of cash, that goes right in their account. And like I buy some stocks for him, and so I'm not gonna mention what's in there because I don't want people to judge it. But yeah, I mean, we were mentioning last week about the debt. I don't want them to pay for student loans. When they get that age, so you got to start early, and the earlier you start, we know the power of compound interest, right? So
Yes, sir.
that's what I do. That's how I go about my budget, and yeah, man. I mean, hopefully, people got something out of that, right? What about you? What do you think about that unit?
That was good, man. That was really good. I think that was very valuable. What you said, very good information. Yeah, it's very similar. What I'm going to say is very similar, and it kind of aligns with what you're saying. So, what I think is that budgeting to play this game, to play the game that we're on every day, I think budgeting is probably the most important element to this game.
Absolutely.
Wouldn't you guys agree with that?
Yes, sir.
And I think to be able to be in control of your budget and to stick to that budget, I think it brings so much value to the way you approach this game and the level of success that you can have. And I believe that budgeting, it comes down to you have to be able to know what's coming in and what's going out, because that's the first thing to identify. You got to know what is your income, how much money you got coming in. Then you got to know how much money you got going out. And I'm talking about to the cent. Every time that I work with somebody with their budget or I give them suggestions, I'm not a professional, but I give them suggestions, I always tell them you got to hit every single little thing in your life. Even like whatever, like you have Netflix $7 a month, Hulu $5 a month. You go over a few tolls every month, $20. There's got to be a way to track every single expense, because what you need to do is you have to decide what's coming in, what's going out, and what is that margin in between, right? That chunk of money in between the money that you need for your bills and the money that you don't need. That chunk of money is what's going to get you to build your wealth, right? There's a famous quote by a gentleman named Jim Rohn. He says, wages are great. Wages will pay your bills, but profits are what's going to make you rich. That's what's going to build your wealth, right? So basically, he's saying you got to get a chunk of money in there that you don't need that you can put towards investments to build your wealth, right? If you're living paycheck to paycheck, there's only so much you can do. So you either got to get out there, you got to make more money, right? But then you're giving away more time. You got to do something with business, or or you got to find a way to cut your expenses in your budget, identify everything, and be able to control or create some kind of margin, some kind of space in between the money you need and what you don't need, because that's the chunk that's going to get you rich. But you're only going to be able to do that if you budget yourself, if you know what your numbers are, and as we know in this game is all about consistency. You got to be consistent. You got to be consistent in the money you make. You got to be consistent in the way that you approach your investing, and then you got to be consistent 100% every day. You got to be consistent with your budgeting, right? Now, another point that I want to tie into this is that I think that it's also important to know that you got to be able to live under your means, right? That's the only way to do this. If you're living paycheck to paycheck and you don't have any margin, it's going to be very hard for you to play this game. I'm going to be very honest with you. So you got to be able to find a way to live under your means, below your means, as they say. And then also you got to be able to find a way to live of a certain percentage of your pay, right? I've always heard that 20 to 30%. You got to be able to live on 20 to 30% of your income. And now, I'm not saying forever, right? Once you're a wealthy person, you're to the point where you're comfortable. You don't have to live that tight. It's only a season in your life that you're going to dedicate this, 5 to 7 years. That's what's going to lay the base for you to become wealthy. So, like I said, all those things together with the consistency and getting your life in control as far as living below your means and don't live this crazy overinflated lifestyle and then wonder why you don't have any money to invest. If you get all that stuff under control, then you're in good shape. And that's my belief on budgeting. And that's what I do every day. Boom.
Great
Thank you,
job, man.
fellas.
Let's go, baby. Let's go. Flip, drop the
Right.
bomb on that one, boy.